General George Smith Patton Jr. was born in San Gabriel, California on November 11, 1885.
Very red.
From such an early age, Patton wished to pursue a military career. The thought of wanting to be in the military was caused because he wanted to follow his ancestors' footsteps, who had fought in the Mexican War, and he wished to become a military hero just like his ancestors were. Once again, being born into a military family, Patton decided to enroll in a Virginia Military Institute in 1904, and a year later, 1905, Patton joined the United States Military Academy at West Point. After dedicating 5 years into a military academy/military institute, General Patton Jr. graduated from Military Academy at West Point in the United States as a second lieutenant on June 11, 1909. Educated at West Point, George Smith Patton Jr. began his military career leading cavalry troops against Mexican forces and became the first officer assigned to the new U.S. Army Tank Corps during World War I. Patton Jr. was a general by the time he was in World War I and in World War II. He was a general of his own corps. Patton was the first officer assigned to the Tank Corps in World War I. General Patton Jr. was also an expert in history. As shown in the movie Patton, he knows so much about history, from the littlest historic problems to the most known history. Patton Jr. knew it all. This was the major subject General Patton Jr. learned during his time at the military academies he attended. At the age of 24, General Patton married spouse Beatriz Fanning Ayer, with whom he had 2 daughters and 1 son named Ruth Ellen, Beatriz Smith, and George Patton V. A year after his marriage, Patton was on an Olympic meet competing on long-distance runs. He did many things, also like designing his own sword and his own uniforms his Army Corps would wear during and after World War II. George Smith Patton Jr. was a general with 4 stars. He was an outstanding leader and a responsible man with his work. General Patton fought 3 battles. He fought in World War I, and Patton, as being a skilled person at tank warfare, he was put in charge of the Tiger tanks in World War I. Yet, the first battle that General Patton Jr. was recognized was when he witnessed his first action in 1916, leading patrols on the Mexican border against the leader of the Mexicans, Francisco Pancho Villa. Also fought in World War II, leading the Third Army in a successful sweep across France. During World War II in 1944. In 1945, General Patton led his army across Rhine River into Germany, capturing 10,000 miles of territory and helping liberate the country from Nazi rule. At the Battle of Cambrai, tanks proved their usefulness, and Patton became one of the leading experts on the use of tanks in war. Patton also helped lead the Allies to victory in the invasion of Sicily and was instrumental to the liberation of Germany from the Nazis. General George Smith Patton Jr. was in command of 3 different fields. He was in command of the U.S. 7th Army, the U.S. 3rd Army, and the U.S. 15th Army. After overcoming the battles he fought in, he got various awards, among them 3 Distinguished Service Medals, a Bronze Star, a Purple Heart, and the 3rd Cavalry Regiment, and a 2nd Armored Division, and also a U.S. 2 Corps. These were the awards General George Smith Patton received throughout his time of serving for our country.
Really? It shows respect.
Sadly, on December 21st, 1945, General George Smith Patton Jr. died on a terrible car crash he had.